All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. You found us here at KGB Customs, home of some of the best custom gun content on the web. We share these custom guns in hopes of sharing some knowledge and to catalog some of the great pieces that come through our shop. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to take a little break from the custom handguns and share with you a custom rifle. This custom rifle was a two-man job, so to speak, as many custom rifles are. The metalwork was all done by Harry Creighton, and the stock work by Bob Cassidy. Both of these gentlemen worked out of Nashville, Tennessee area, and certainly worked side by side through the years, probably on more than just this one project. The stock work is done very classically, I would call it very American classic. We've got the Griffin House style stock with a pancake cheek piece there. The stock is very well figured, but not obtusely figured. That's what we'd expect to see on a classic custom rifle. The guys today building rifles often go for all the grain they can get to make them as striking as possible, but old stock makers often went for strength, and beauty came secondary somewhat in the wood. But you can see we've got nice straight grain forend through the wrists, and then we've got some nice burl and figure in the buttstock here. Bob Cassidy worked for quite a long time out of Nashville, Tennessee. He was working at least up until the 2010 time frame. He built this stock in 1978. It is marked in the forend with his initials and the date. And then, of course, we've got an early Ruger 77 action. That was all tuned up and modified by Mr. Creighton. Creighton was very well known for his bench rest rifles and precision varmint rifles. He also built a number of safari guns, which were built to the same exacting standards. This one being more of a safari gun in .35 Whelen, kind of an American safari gun, right? So the gun has a medium weight barrel, iron sights, of course, mounted on there. It is a Lyman folding rear sight, so you can fold that down out of the way. Topped with a loopholed scope, which would have been top of the heap, certainly, for American-made optics in the late 70s. Harry didn't build a lot of ostentatious rifles, but this one is very nicely done, and certainly one of his more handsome efforts that I can find images of out there. Building a lot of bench rest rifles, they weren't necessarily being built for pretties, they were being built for competition. This one obviously was built for a man of means and sadly not hunted with that hard. This gun really displays very little use. There's some handling marks in the oil finish of the stock, but little to no blue wear on it, and a gun that probably lived most of its life in the closet. We see ball head, sling studs, front and rear, another classic touch. Nicely cut checkering, cut through the finish, as was Cassidy's style, near as I can tell. I did find an article Lane Simpson wrote in 2011 about an old Mauser 25-06 that he had Cassidy cut checkering in and refinish. And in the checkering, other than being a fleur-de-lis pattern, it's a different pattern than what this one is. The finish and whatnot looks very similar to this, with the very deep red stain and the checkering cut through the finish. The stock is, of course, topped off with a Pachmayr recoil pad and a finely finished steel grip cap there. The bottom metal was also converted to steel. The Ruger 77, of course, had a aluminum floor plate on it originally. And turning the rifle over, we see that classic clean lines all throughout, nicely shaped. Of course, this rifle is not a featherweight rifle, being built in the safari style. It's a little bit heavier stocked. The wood is very dense. The stock is heavy, even without the metal in it. But overall, you've got a 10 or 11 pound rifle here that would be comfortable to shoot with even the heaviest 35 Whelen loads. I have a 35 Whelen, one of the new Ruger Africans, And it's a wonderful round and really quite surprisingly flat shooting and accurate out to 400 or 500 yards. And this rifle was built at a time when there weren't a lot of big magnums and whatnot. There, of course, was 300 Win Mag and 338 Win Mag, but for 35 caliber guns, there wasn't a ton of choices. You could do the 350 Rem Mag, but the 35 Whelen has some advantages over the 350, namely the longer neck on the cases and the longer sloping case generally feeds smoother, and case life is a little better. Another very interesting feature about this gun is the bolt handle. This rifle, being an early 77, probably had a flat or dogleg bolt handle originally, which kind of hang real close to the stock and aren't super easy to grab onto and manipulate in a hurry. So Mr. Creighton, master metalsmith, chopped that off and welded on this extended one, which is classically shaped with a pear head knob on it, and you can just faintly make out the slight coloration change there at the stem where that was welded in place. Mr. Creighton certainly built a ton of rifles, but like I said, most of them were match accuracy jobs. I wish I had the time in the range to really stretch this one out. I've just got 50 yards here at the shop, but I sure would love to shoot this thing and see what she did out at 100 and 300 yards. Sure to be someone's favorite elk rifle. Would be a great moose rifle, and would be a great whitetail or mule deer rifle. It would also perform admirably on any plains game in Africa. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you were around the Tennessee area and worked with either of these guys, I'd love to hear it. I love to hear first-person accounts of folks who dealt with these smiths and experienced it. I know I was contacted by a guy when I first posted this gun on my website who actually was around in the shops down in that area in the 70s and 80s when these guys were in their prime, so to speak. And I just love to hear from guys like that who lived it, had lived experience with the guns and the guys that built them. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good one.